Well, here is a John Deere 810 3-bottom 14-inch plow that uses the horse head and the 801 hitch. That's what's behind this thing. And you make all your adjustments here, you make an adjustment here, you make an adjustment here, and this is for the evener bars, what they call this at the top, where it mounts in with the pin. Use a hairpin that goes in there and holds the pin in place. She mounts back here against the axle. It has to be in the most rear pin hole is where you put it. The book does tell you, there's an 810 operating book that tells you where to set these at for the top link. So I would say what it says in the book, but the problem is when I did it exactly what the book said, it didn't work. Mine had to be 31.5 inches is how long I had to extend those out. And the reason you do that is to get that rear moldboard in the ground, so then the plow sits even as you're plowing. You know, I also learned today, the book says to have that 1/4 of an inch. Well, it's between 1.5 inches to 2 inches where that rear coulter is, which mine's a notched coulter. And when you do that, you get a really nice wall on your furrow. Instead of it being all chunky, it's just a nice clean cut, and it worked fabulous. But the book tells you to make it 1/4 of an inch, and that did not work. It just made the wall crumble and come down. Here's my gauge wheel. It's backwards. This is supposed to be yellow. That's supposed to be green. My powder coating guy, we're going to fix that and get that right. And we're going to do the rear wheel. We're going to powder coat that guy. And you want to make sure that it's over far enough so you're not down there hitting against the wall. So it's got to be over to the right. And you can see this is where your land is right here where it comes through to make that wall. Because if that's too tight against the wall, then you end up dropping and making a more mess. But you got the 2 upper links like I showed you. You got to have the rear pin and your links. Mine were 20 inches is what I ended up doing here. This was 20 inches. This was 31.5, and I do it from center to center. Right down here. See that pin right there. And you want to make sure all this stuff is freed up if you're going to use this 801 hitch and that horse head. And that's called a landing lever. If you bring this guy all the way forward and put it in the forward notch, it makes the front moldboard dig the deepest. And if you turn it all the way aft, then it raises it, and that's what helps. For me, I got to run mine all the way in the aft hole, and then I can get my plow to set even as I'm pulling it. And then all 3 of them are equally chewing and digging and flipping it over. So the tractor is a 1955 John Deere 70 diesel with a pony start, and I just used 1,000 RPM second gear, which is high range. The 1 and 2 is what that is in the gate. Forward left, 1,000 RPM second gear, ran 3.5 miles an hour, and just let this guy sit in the dirt. Hope this is helpful.